If you are taking amlodipine for high blood pressure or angina, you should definitely watch this video. Because we will discuss 6 foods that can slow down the absorption of amlodipine. So your doctor may have told you to take amlodipine on an empty stomach. But what does that mean exactly? Does it mean that you need to take it first thing in the morning before breakfast? Or can you also eat something with it? And if so, what kind of food can you eat? How long do you need to wait after a meal before taking your amlodipine? These are all very good questions, and we're going to answer all of them today. The currently recommended dose of amlodipine is between 2.5 mg and 10 mg once per day. It is important not to exceed this dose unless directed by your doctor. As you know, most medications are absorbed from the small intestine into the bloodstream through a process called intestinal absorption. During this process, different substances such as food can either accelerate or slow down the absorption of amlodipine. The absorption rate can affect how quickly the medication begins to work and its effectiveness. As mentioned earlier, your doctor may have told you to take amlodipine on an empty stomach, but what does that really mean? In general, it means that you should take your amlodipine 1 hour before or 2 hours after a meal. This recommendation applies to both tablet and capsule forms of amlodipine. However, there are many different types of meals. A light meal contains less fat than a heavy meal. Therefore, it takes longer to digest a heavy meal compared to a light meal. In addition, a heavy meal containing a lot of fat can significantly delay the absorption of amlodipine into the bloodstream because the body uses more resources to digest fat. This explains why some people need to wait up to 3 hours after a high-fat meal before taking their amlodipine. So to make things easier, here are 6 foods that can slow down the absorption of amlodipine along with explanations of how they do it and how long you need to wait after eating these foods before taking amlodipine. Number 1, grapefruit and grapefruit juice. Some foods can slow down the absorption of certain medications. Grapefruit and grapefruit juice are well known for having this effect on many drugs, including amlodipine. Grapefruit and grapefruit juice contain special compounds called furanocoumarin. These compounds inhibit specific enzymes in the body, particularly those responsible for metabolizing drugs in the liver. When these enzymes are inhibited, the liver cannot break down and eliminate certain drugs as quickly as it would otherwise. For example, grapefruit juice inhibits the enzyme CYP3A4, which is involved in breaking down amlodipine. By inhibiting this enzyme, grapefruit slows down the metabolism of amlodipine in the liver, leading to higher levels of amlodipine in the body. This can increase the effectiveness of amlodipine. However, it can also lead to more side effects. Since amlodipine is already a potent drug, increasing its levels in the body too much can be dangerous. Therefore, it is important to avoid consuming grapefruit and grapefruit juice while taking amlodipine. Also, you should avoid these foods for at least 2 hours before or after taking amlodipine. If you are taking amlodipine for high blood pressure, higher levels of amlodipine may be good because they mean the drug works better. But if you are taking amlodipine for chest pain, higher levels of amlodipine may cause more side effects. In particular, you may experience headaches, dizziness, nausea, and swelling of the lower extremities. Number 2, high-fat foods. The absorption of amlodipine depends on several factors, including the presence of fat in the gastrointestinal tract. Generally, high-fat foods slow down the absorption of amlodipine. This is mainly because the body needs more time to digest and absorb fats compared to other nutrients like carbohydrates and proteins. When you consume a meal with a lot of fat, most of the digestive resources are used to break down and absorb the fat. As a result, the remaining resources for absorbing amlodipine become limited. In addition, the presence of fat in the gastrointestinal tract can physically slow down the movement of the liquid contents, including amlodipine, through the intestines. All of these factors can lead to a slower absorption of amlodipine, potentially affecting its effectiveness. To ensure better absorption and effectiveness, it is advisable to avoid taking amlodipine immediately after consuming high-fat meals. Instead, it is recommended to wait at least 2 to 3 hours after a high-fat meal before taking amlodipine. However, if you've taken amlodipine and then eaten a high-fat meal, don't worry. Just wait a few hours and continue taking your medicine as usual. Number 3, whole grains and legumes. Whole grains and legumes are excellent sources of fiber, protein, and complex carbohydrates. They are staples in healthy diets. However, due to their high fiber content, whole grains and legumes can sometimes slow down the digestion process. The fiber in these foods can absorb water and expand, which can make them harder to digest. In addition, the protein and complex carbohydrates in these foods require more time to break down and absorb. This means that if you have taken amlodipine, it may take longer for it to be absorbed and enter your bloodstream if you consume whole grains or legumes. In general, it is recommended to wait about 2 hours after a meal containing a lot of whole grains or legumes before taking amlodipine. Number 4. Dairy products. Dairy products are often rich in fat. This can slow down the absorption of amlodipine. This is because the body spends a lot of time and energy digesting the fat in dairy products. This means that the liquid contents of the stomach, including amlodipine, remain in the stomach for longer before moving to the intestines for absorption. Additionally, dairy products typically contain proteins like casein and whey, which can form a gel-like substance when exposed to the acidic environment of the stomach. This gel can further slow down the release of amlodipine into the intestines, affecting its absorption rate. To optimize the absorption of amlodipine, it is advisable to avoid or limit the consumption of dairy products, especially high-fat ones, before and after taking amlodipine. You should also wait at least 2 hours after consuming dairy products before taking amlodipine. Number 5. Antacids. Antacids are often used to relieve heartburn and other digestive discomfort. They work by neutralizing excess acid in the stomach. However, antacids typically contain high amounts of calcium carbonate. Calcium carbonate is a base that reacts with acid to raise the pH of the stomach. When you take an antacid, the stomach contents, including amlodipine, become more alkaline. This change in acidity can affect the absorption rate of amlodipine. Amlodipine is better absorbed in an acidic environment. Therefore, if the stomach becomes too alkaline after taking an antacid, it can slow down the absorption of amlodipine. As a result, the effectiveness of amlodipine may decrease if you take it soon after taking an antacid. To ensure optimal absorption and effectiveness of amlodipine, it is recommended to wait at least 2 hours after taking an antacid before taking amlodipine. Number 6. Alcohol. Excessive alcohol consumption can interfere with the absorption process of various nutrients and drugs, including amlodipine. Alcohol can irritate the stomach lining, leading to inflammation and slowing down digestion. This means that the liquid contents of the stomach, including amlodipine, stay in the stomach for longer before moving to the intestines for absorption. Additionally, alcohol can interact with enzymes involved in breaking down amlodipine in the liver, affecting its metabolism and potentially slowing down its elimination from the body. This can further alter the absorption pattern of amlodipine. To ensure proper absorption and effectiveness, it is generally recommended to avoid alcohol, especially when taken with amlodipine. If you choose to drink alcohol while taking amlodipine, it is advisable to wait at least 2 hours after drinking alcohol before taking amlodipine. I hope you found this video helpful. Please share any questions or concerns you may have in the comment section below. Your feedback is greatly appreciated. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. Thank you for watching, and I wish you a happy and healthy life.